Most aviation accidents aren't caused by lack of skill. They're caused by something far less obvious: human behavior under pressure. In 1977, two fully loaded Boeing 747s collided on a runway in Tenerife. 583 people died. It remains the deadliest aviation accident in history, known as the Tenerife Airport Disaster. And what makes this case so important is that nothing was mechanically wrong. Both aircraft were fully functional. Both crews were highly trained. One of the captains was considered one of the most experienced pilots in the world. So, what happened? A breakdown in communication. Under pressure, the captain of the KLM flight initiated takeoff without explicit clearance. The first officer expressed uncertainty. The flight engineer questioned it, but they didn't stop it. They hinted, they softened, they didn't challenge directly. And seconds later, the aircraft accelerated into a runway that wasn't clear. Now, here's the part most people focus on: miscommunication. But that's not the full story, because communication doesn't break down randomly. It breaks down in patterns. Cockpit voice recordings revealed something subtle but critical: hesitation, deference to authority, a reluctance to directly challenge the captain, even when something didn't feel right. And this is where human psychology enters the cockpit, because in high-pressure environments, you don't just rely on training, you rely on conditioning. And conditioning isn't just professional, it's personal. If someone has a pattern of deferring to authority, avoiding conflict, second-guessing themselves, those patterns don't disappear at 30,000 feet. They intensify, because pressure amplifies what's already there. Now, let's go deeper. In aviation, this led to the development of Crew Resource Management, CRM, a system designed to flatten hierarchy, encourage speaking up, normalize challenge, make it safer to question, even the captain, because they realized something critical. The issue wasn't knowledge, it was behavior. Now bring this into a psychological lens. If you grew up in an environment where authority wasn't questioned, speaking up had consequences, or keeping the peace was safer than being right, your brain learned a pattern. Stay quiet, don't challenge, don't disrupt. And in everyday life, that might look like people-pleasing hesitation, holding back what you really think. But in a cockpit, that same pattern can become catastrophic, because seconds matter, clarity matters, and indirect communication isn't enough. Now here's the flip side. These patterns don't just hurt performance, they can also save it when they're healthy. Pilots who are trained and internally wired to stay regulated under pressure, communicate clearly, challenge appropriately, create completely different outcomes, not because they're smarter, because they respond differently when it matters most. That's the difference. And this is where the real plot twist is. We like to believe that in high-stakes moments, we will rise to the occasion, that we'll be clear, decisive, aligned with our values. But the evidence shows something else. Under pressure, you don't rise to your training alone, you default to your patterns. Patterns shaped long before the cockpit, long before the relationship, long before the moment that matters. So the real question isn't, what would I do in that situation? It's, what do I already do when pressure shows up? Because that's your answer. And once you can see that, you can change it. But until you do, it will keep playing out in conversations, in decisions, in the moments that matter most. If you want to understand the pattern driving your behavior, learn your primal wound at 7primalwounds.com.